Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Amboy volcano, and I'm sorry if I laugh too much because this is like the funniest thing. Um, because I heard about this growing up as a kid in California, and what happened was like some kids in the 40s lit up um a bunch of like crap in a cinder cone and made a whole town think a giant volcano was happening, and they evacuated the town, and they like the LA Times hired a plane, and all this stuff happened, and people were freaking out, and what they did was they just threw all this crap in. It was like the giant fire pit, and just lit it on fire. And there was no Highway 15 at the time. I thought there was. So I was told this happened in the 70s, but now that I look at it more, it happened in the 40s, and there was definitely no Highway 15. So, but there was Highway 66, right? So, which is small highway, but did the same job, get you to Vegas and beyond, and back to LA, and it's just funny to think about how it took 72 hours for people to figure this out, and they ended up evacuating the entire town of Barstow or whatever, just saying like a volcano's gonna blow, and yeah, it was all a big hoax. This has also happened in Alaska. People did this. I mean, because we have volcanoes up and down the west coast, right? So we're always a little weary of that. So if you see smoke coming out of a mountain, it's like, uh-oh, maybe you should get ready. But in this case, it was a complete hoax, and it was in one way it's criminal, but it was teenagers or whatever. But in another way, it's freaking hilarious. I don't know how to think about it, but apparently they just dumped all this junk into a cinder cone and then eventually just lit it all on fire and ran off, and nobody knows who did it. And you gotta remember it's the 40s, so the surveillance state wasn't there. It wasn't like they had everybody's phone data. So yeah, um, I don't know. This story makes me laugh. Um, I've driven through that area a few times, so it's not my favorite area, but you know, but yeah, it was funny because like people thought that like a volcano was gonna actually blow in Barstow. you know, if you've been there, you know what I mean. So I'll just say that like if you've lived in like Vegas or like LA or something, you know what I'm talking about. So